Hey guys, welcome back to another Naruto x Boruto Ninja Voltage video. So I wanted to play a bit before I decided to play a little bit more on the channel, and this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be like a review, 5 things at minimum. I may have a few more in there, good and bad, so at least 10 collective things about this game to look out for. Before we get into it, I want to say that first and foremost, guys, you got to give it a chance. I mean, don't compare it to your relative game that you may enjoy. I see a lot of Bleach comparisons because it has a similar playstyle, because it has action controls out there. As blasphemous as that is, the game is brand new. Give it a chance. If you like Naruto, if you like the gameplay or whatever, give it a chance to improve itself, to put out more content, because right now you may not like it so much. Maybe in the future you'll like it a little more, and that's one of the things I wanted to stress. This happens to every single game. When they come out, they are completely dry. There are no stones in the game to get. There's nothing for you, barely anything, and then eventually they start picking up, putting out more content. So give the game a chance. It's gonna have a Might Guy event coming out soon. And yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there, guys. We need to make sure that we keep that mindset. I'm not saying to just love the game, right? If you don't like it, you don't like it, but at least don't judge it in that regard yet. Don't compare it to a game or games that have been out for years. It's not there yet. It's not in that style yet. So anyways, this game is basically, it takes a lot of things, as you see here, from a Clash of Clans type of game, where you have your village, you protect your village, you also go ahead and upgrade your bases and stuff like that by using the in-game currency, such as Ryo, and the chakra that you get. So you can also, if you want to, use Shinobite, but not gonna go ahead and use Shinobite. Shinobite is this game's version of like a Dragonstone, if you're familiar with Dokkan. So what is this game mainly about? It is about attack missions mainly. You go ahead and jump into attack missions. You have 5, as you see in the top left corner up there. You have 5, and then that of course constantly refills. You go into attack missions, and then you take on other people's fortresses. So fortresses are something that's completely customizable. You get to change the ninjas that show up here and change the way that it's laid out and things of that nature. Of course, you can test play it if you want to. So that's mainly what this game is about. It's kind of doing a ranking thing, I believe. Ninja card sort of, I don't care about that. Anyways, I think it's doing a ranking thing that will reset eventually, and then of course this is just from playing that, and your base gets attacked while you're not logged in. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes they'll be able to defend themselves, sometimes the player that's playing against your base will be able to win. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the pros. First and foremost, this is kind of a jokey one, but still I guess it kind of counts. A lot of people play the games because they have characters that they like, and this game is no different. Kakashi is one of my favorite characters. Can't wait for more characters to come out, like Minato and stuff like that, and KCM versions of Naruto and Minato and stuff. But the main draw to this game is the fact that it is a Naruto game. The fact that you get to play with a lot of Naruto-centric characters, of course, from the Naruto series. So that's the first and foremost one. We're going to go ahead and talk about the next one. So while I'm talking about the characters, one of the things that I really like is the fact that the game actually gives you characters. Like, you get the characters via just playing the game, and that's one of the cool things about it. It's contrast to a game like, I talked about it earlier, a Dokkan Battle, because that's one of the most prevalent anime games out there just in existence, and this game is not like that. It doesn't make you summon for the characters that you use, but what it does make you do is it makes you summon for their equipment, basically. Ninja cards you have to go ahead and pull for. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but still, it is nice to say that you get the characters. Also, by grinding their hero fragments, you can awaken them to a higher rarity, and they get better and proceed that way. So again, we're going to jump into another pro. And I was just kind of talking about it, but one of the things I really like is the ability to enhance and evolve ninja cards. So we're going to talk about ninja cards in a little bit, but ninja cards are basically the equipment that you have to pull for. So if you have something here, you're not 100% satisfied with it, you can kind of go ahead and take a standard card, like a rare card, for example, train it up, and then evolve it here, and then it rates up to the next rarity, and then it gets a little bit better. You can kind of just make your trash into something that's viable, at least, because the units, do have the opportunity to equip 10 cards, so it does get a little bit more viable that way. So another thing that I wanted to talk about here for the next pro, we're gonna go ahead and jump ship. We were just talking about the characters, and prior to that I was talking about the game's base mechanic and its PvP centric stuff like attack missions and stuff. But what it actually has that's pretty cool too is it has guilds, and again the fortresses, which we already went over. So guilds are something that's pretty cool because you're able to build one. It does cost 5 Shinobite, which did kind of suck, but it is what it is. You build a guild, and then from there, people can apply to your guild. There's nobody in my guild, but they can apply to your guild, and then they can join it. And I believe I read somewhere, feel free to correct me, that you'll be able to take on raid missions with members of your guild. That's awesome, man. And then, of course, just from being a part of the guild, you do get guild medals, which can be used for ninja tools. So I don't have any now. This is why I went ahead and built my guild. And, of course, you can get any of the stuff that's in this guild medal shop. And, of course, there are a couple of other shops for the other in-game currencies that you can acquire as well. So, again, we were talking about in-game currencies, and we talked a little bit about Shinobite, which is basically this game's version of a Dragonstone or, you know, Pearl or whatever from Blazing, if you're familiar with that. So this game also has a daily achievement, or that lets you acquire, 3 Shinobite. Now, that's not the most, but it's something. It's nice. It's always nice to see when games incentivize you playing and completing missions daily, because there are some games that don't give you anything as opposed to just logins, because this isn't factoring in any sort of celebration where they give you like 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever, 25, 50, what have you. And it's not counting in your regular cumulative logins. This is just a daily thing. So that means you should get about 90 a month. So that's about almost 2 single summons, because they do cost 50 for 1 single summon, 500 for a multi-summon of 10. So again, it's something. This coupled with the missions and stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's not the worst thing. It's always nice to have that opportunity, because then you always have the option of acquiring new Shinobite. And one thing, if you're a free-to-play player, that's something that should be attractive to you. But also, if you're a free-to-play player, you should understand that you don't need to pull on everything in this game. You really don't. Not at least at this point. At least right now, you don't have to pull for everything. So keep that in mind. But if you do pull, one of the things, this is a nice little transition, is that the game does give you free summons. Right now, a day and 4 hours until my next free one. But I had about 5 when I started my account, so I don't know how often that resets. But just keep that in mind. It'll give you a free single every so often. If you have a bunch of them, I don't know if it'll let you bunch them up into a little coupons into a multi, but it's awesome that the game still gives free singles. It has a rolling counter until your next free single, and you know, you have the opportunity to pull something nice from that. So we're gonna go ahead and transition into some of the cons, because I spent about 7 minutes talking about the good. Let's talk about some of the bad. Now, the main bad thing, and this goes hand in hand with what I said in the beginning of the video, is the fact that the game does not have very much story. 5 chapters is absolutely boo-boo. It's nothing. As you see, there's a lot of untapped potential here. As far as the story goes, it can add so much as far as like where the game actually is relative to the show. So there's a lot that can be had here, but again, the game just dropped. Give it a chance to add that in. Maybe they'll add that in every so often. And they do have these missions here. This is where you would grind the characters. Now, they seem like they're about to go away in a day, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but still, they should come back eventually, and you can go ahead and do that. But I feel like this is one of my other cons. This should just always be here, and they should have other events and stuff like that. I feel like this should always be here for new players, because somebody's gonna start playing in 2 days, and they might not have the opportunity to play some of this stuff, and that's gonna kind of suck. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was the cost of summons and the Shinobite. So again, we talked about the summons. I think that 50 is probably too much for a single at this rate, but again, I'm trying not to be biased, because the problem is, again, that the game isn't giving out a whole lot of Shinobite, because you can't grind it a lot of ways right now, but I still feel like 50 might be too much. So hopefully in the future they have discounted summons like a lot of games do, and that's something you should kind of keep your eyes out for. And another thing I didn't really like is the prices of Shinobites. This is completely 100% pay to play right here. You know, $34 for 500, which is 1 multi-summon. It gets pretty pricey, but again, it's a Bandai game, and every single one of these games, Bandai, is gonna do that. So you gotta cut it a little flack that way, because it's not doing anything different any other game does. But I just wish that they would, you know, bring down the cost, because then more people would spend, if that's what your goal is, which it totally is. So aside from that, there's one little glitch, and there's a host of glitches. Like, there's one glitch, I can't really show it here, where when you're playing, sometimes, it's very rare, but sometimes your allies will get caught behind the barrier, and then you basically can't do anything. But this game mainly has a lot of connection issues. It's really weird too. Like, the few times I've had connection issues, like just randomly a connection issue, and I had completed the mission, it showed me what I got, I lost all of it. Like it boots you back to the home screen and you lose all of it. And if you leave this app for like 10 seconds, literally, it will just force you out. Let's go ahead and see if we can make it happen here. We're gonna leave really quick right here live. We're gonna jump into Digimon links because I was talking about it a moment ago, and we're not gonna do anything crazy. Just gonna just mess around. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see if it happens. Didn't happen. Okay. But overall, honestly, there's a couple more issues here. One of them is that hero fragments don't drop too often. There's not too many of them. You get 3 to 4 whenever you are grinding out the mission for hero fragment drops. You see it says here on the right, item drops. You get about 3 to 4. And relative to how many you need for the shinobi, right here, I need 120 for Naruto at the bottom. I need 100 for Sasuke. 80 here for Tamari. So of course it's a gacha game, so it's going to be grindy, but still I feel like that could be improved, maybe, hopefully in the future. And one last thing, one final thing, and I have to jump into a mission to show you this. One final thing I wanted to talk about is the fact, I don't know why Lee's on my team, by the way. He's fast, maybe that's why. The fact that this game really needs a dodge, and as you see, Rock Lee has like a substitution, so he can kind of dodge. Also, I'm not talking about evasion because Sasuke has a Sharingan ability that gives him evasion or higher evasion rate. The characters outright have an evasion chance, I believe, but I mean literally, it needs some sort of dash. If I do this, the character should go dashing. He should go dashing. He should go dashing. He's not. They need to add that. It needs to be added. And because it helps you move faster, which I guess is kind of counterintuitive with their time-related requirements, but still, it helps the player. It's a quality of life thing. But still, aside from that, it helps you get out of scenarios because what happens is if you get caught in a combo, you got to wait for the combo cooldown and you get back up to be able to proceed again. So that's basically it. Those are all of my pros and all of my cons. Hope that you guys enjoy this. Again, I really enjoyed this game. It's one of my favorite games because I love the fact that they basically stole the models from Kizuna Drive or Impact. It's actually from Impact, I believe. Check out Naruto Impact. Those are both PSP games. Kizuna Drive as well. They both play relatively similar to this. Same type of style, but hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did wind up enjoying it, why not consider subscribing? More content is on the way. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.